Marker, House of the Dragon, episode 3, guys. Let's get right to it. Action! What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
I'm Angelica Kelly.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk. Movie Talk for movie fans, guys. You put the movie world right into your ears, devices. Thank you for making us a part of your day. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is our episode 3 of the House of the Dragon. House Targaryen, episode 3, guys, named second of his name. Now, before we dissect this little episode real quick, guys, because we did see a lot of it trending on Twitter, Facebook, and whatnot. And I want to say, you know, the people that are saying that, oh man, HBO was lazy when it comes down to the main music and all this mishap, right? This we like to jump to conclusions, and yes, we may get overbearing at times to where, and us as fans too, we get so like. It's our passion, right? We get so passionate about these projects. Essentially, that's what it is. We get so passionate about these characters, about these projects, shows, and we're like, no, that was lazy writing. That's a lazy scene. And granted, we know the last season of Game of Thrones was not the best. It really wasn't. I hated the season finale. I hated how they shorted it. Again, we're on that boat with you guys. But to say, and again, this is countless people saying it, but to say that this show, the theme song of this show at the beginning was like, that was lazy on the creators. And I'll be honest here, it's not. I mean, that's like saying Star Wars, all the Star Wars, the main theme song, that was just lazy by John Williams to have the same song every freaking movie, you know. And I'm just going to go on the bat and say that there before we jump into this episode. But I know we're on the same page here, is that like we both love the theme song. Because that theme song, to what Star Wars theme song is, we know we're going to a galaxy far, far away. Jurassic Park 2, whether they turn it up a little bit, and they kind of messed with it a little bit, not really. And besides the opening, the opening credits of this, it's all blood. I love it. I love the whole like white, the whole blood. I love that because it's about the House Targaryens. And knowing that and everything, before we get into this episode, I mean, would you agree, Angela? Were you against it? Are you for it? I know we talked about it a little bit.
I mean, I don't see a problem with using the same song because it is synonymous with the Game of Thrones universe. Like, you hear that if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know you're going to the Seven Kingdoms, right? You know you're being transported into this realm, you know. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it's lazy writing.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I think the very first episode they kind of slightly tweaked it, but then. Second episode, third episode, it's been the same Song of Ice and Fire.
I think they're just trying to figure out their identity as far as how they wanted to do it.
I don't have a problem with using the same song. I like the different opening with the blood. It still shows like the different symbols representing the different characters.
Yeah, the different houses.
So I still like that.
That was good.
But I don't have a problem with it. But for this episode, we do open up a little bit more differently than the past few episodes.
We get into the whole action here. We see Daemon in here fighting it off against the crab. It was awesome. Him on his dragon. And I love how the wounded guy's all like, Prince Daemon, all hell, crushed.
Yeah, so we obviously open up to the first time jump. So we get a sense of the first time jump. So they're losing this war against these crab pirate people.
Coil and Daemon. Yeah.
Corlys, and Daemon. And so you see that opening, the battle scene is very brutal. Like you say, he steps on the fire. Unfortunately, the dragon steps on the person.
Where he's all, my prince.
That was pretty brutal. But I like the way it opens because you see like I said, that first time jump. What's been happening in these few years that have passed since the last episode? What would you say was your reaction? Past. So where would you say, how would you feel like Viserys is? What kind of realm?
Yeah, so that was my major concern, right? That was my major concern, is that they're gonna jump. How and when is the episode gonna jump? And also we gotta jump on it. I think it was 3 years since the last episode, right? So we have to put that in perspective. We find that a little bit, and I kind of feel like this is really good as far as like, because we're all paying attention. We really are. When you're watching Game of Thrones, when you pop open that HBO Max app and you're about to watch this, you put on the pizza, whether you're having dinner or making dinner on a Sunday night or buying dinner or whatever, eating fried chicken, pizza. I'm just thinking of random stuff that we've done. And so whenever you pop that in, you're like, okay, you know what? We're going to eat. And then, but we're not, when I sit down and start this episode, I'm going to pay attention. Like, I'm not getting up. You already have your drink. I have my drink. I'm not getting up. So that's how intense it is right here at the Duarte house. But, with that aside, this is definitely where we have to really pay attention. And it's not like they don't throw it out there. And I love this though, because I kind of feel like if you put on there 3 years later, I don't know. I'm for it and I'm against it, right? It has to be a certain style.
It poisons it to where you as an audience member are figuring out what's happening in this short amount of time.
But see, at the same time though, I'm all like, well, that's lazy creativity by the writers if they were to do something. Again, I don't know. It's definitely a preference. It really is.
So a lot besides that though, a lot has happened in 3 years. So obviously the Corliss and Damon are kind of losing the war against these crab folks.
Otto's still putting his knives in the king as usual.
I mean, surprise, Alicent, now married to the king, has born him a son.
Yep.
And the son is 2 years old now, turning 2.
Yep.
And she's pregnant again. Yeah. So that poses another question of Rhaenyra's claim to the throne. Is it as strong? Will the people accept her? Mm-hmm. That becomes now the main conflict of that we can foresee going forward.
And we get a whole of the whole realm exactly how they're feeling at this point. All the major lords in this realm, and everyone assumes it's going to be Aegon. It's not going to be Rhaenyra no more. And that's what sucks. And that's why I kind of like Rhaenyra is, she's frustrated because like she's all like, you don't give me any responsibilities, but yet like I'm still the heir. When are you going to take me out of the, like, she's so frustrated and conflicted in herself because it's just like, why is it that he has to take, why is it like she doesn't, it's almost to a sense she's in the middle of a crossfire because that's my brother, but yet I'm the heir, but you don't give me any responsibilities. The world won't see it. The realm won't see it differently if a woman becomes the queen of the realm.
So she's definitely feeling that frustration. I know Rhaenys, who is the queen that never was, she didn't tell her the realm would rather burn than see a woman ascend the throne. And so she gives her that forewarning. You kind of see that in Rhaenyra's frustration. There's a lot more politicking. So a lot of people are approaching the king and saying, I would like to marry your daughter. It's getting to that realm where her duty is to marry and have sons or children. And that makes her question her father's, like you say, like, decision. Is she still going to be heir? Is it now going to...
It's crazy,
to the Aegon. You see that frustration in her. She feels like she's just being used, essentially for advantage, and she doesn't agree with it.
And that's the thing too, is that like she's going into a state of mind to where like, why am I just a pawn in your little game? Like that's where she kind of gets that little sense by her father. Is that you're marrying me to this person because I offer 1,000 ships, and she makes a joke about it too. And I love that because it makes sense, because at that point in time though, we saw in Game of Thrones countless times who's gonna marry Sansa. That'll be the key to the North. Once Robert died and everything, it sucks. But it just the Red Wedding. That's terrible, right? And knowing that they didn't know the outcome, but they knew they were gonna take out Robb Stark. They were like, Sansa's next because Jon Snow's a bastard. So they were just like, Sansa's next,
and he's at the wall.
And that's why Tyrion married Sansa, because Tywin Lannister wanted to have the North in his pocket. And so again, North, Highgarden, and all the major realms at that point in time. Now we're going 200-300 years before this, and it's essential to where you need to make sure the house is strong enough to survive by all means necessary, to survive, whether it's ships, to get more power, to get more money, to get more just wealth.
And you see her resisting that. But also that you also see her relationship with her former best friend. It's not there anymore.
It's not there,
she doesn't feel like you could tell it. She's still hurt by it. It's their relationship's pretty much damaged beyond all repair at this time.
I think so
too,
far
right now.
I don't think they're...
Plus, also, I think, like you
How would you feel if your best friend at that time married your dad?
I definitely feel different, but also I feel there is a sense of threat between Rhaenyra and Alicent, because I know Alicent, deep down, I know it's played out a little bit later in the episode, we'll talk about it later, but I know Alicent's kind of worried about her son's future too.
Yeah.
And not only Alicent, but like you say, Otto Hightower is, like, again, sinking his claws, trying to put thoughts into the king.
He wants the crown.
Yeah. you see, like I said, I compared Otto to Lord Baelish, where he has his little deceivery, little moves that he makes, subtle moves. You know, he tries to seem friendly.
Little finger, man. Yeah.
But you know, he's real selfish.
I mean, but the difference is that his grandson will be the king.
He wants that. He wants that. So, anyways, that's where we. So, I think the next major scene we move into is as the sun is turning to. Yeah, they go into the hunt, right? This tradition
the big old hunt. And now the whole kingdom is assuming now that it was very, very perverty of the Lannister to the way he was just smelling and just like, God, dude, she's like what? Rhaenyra's 17?
I think she's like a young
woman. She's a teenager regardless. She's not in her 20s yet, so she's a teenager at this point in time. And I'm just like, dude, and this guy's like double her age essentially, or maybe not even, maybe in the late 20s, but still, regardless, it's at least 10 years apart. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just up to conclusion, but let's just say it's 10 years apart. I'm all like, dude,
it's
like
probably a lot older.
Okay, yeah, true. He does look a lot older, but I'm just like, dude, and he sits out his tongue. I was just like, what the hell's going on? Are all Lannisters? And then let me guess, is he sleeping with his sister too? If he has a sister, I don't know.
That's what's creepy is because that's the first kind of like point where you see Rhaenyra realize how close it is that she needs to like fulfill her duty. She needs to marry, right? So she gets that sense that it angers her, right? She confronts the king in front of everybody.
And I think that the creators of this show really wanted to make that small little time jump to where like, hey, they're not kids anymore.
It's like almost coming of age at the time. Yeah. I know she's still a young girl, but at the time, like it is like he even tells her like, you're of that age. This is what you need to do. Yeah.
Skimming a little bit further down this episode a little bit, we do see in front of everybody, really of all the court, is that Rhaenyra and her father are arguing Viserys. They're arguing like very upset that they don't get along, and it gets very it really does get overwhelming because Otto's like, dude, like you need to control, like essentially it gets to him. Viserys really, it's starting to struggle more. He gets drunk that night because he doesn't know what else to do, and he's running away from the problems. He needs to help Daemon. He needs to help his brother.
I think
he doesn't want to, but he doesn't want to start a war. I'm all like, dude, your brother's in a war. Corlys is left too as well. Like, you need to go. We need to do something besides saying the two.
It's very political, this episode. Yeah. So you not only see the side of marrying Rhaenyra off for advantage, but you also see the side of his decision to aid his brother and Corlys in this war. And, you know, you see him struggle with all of this. And at this hunt party, right, he does start to question whether or not he made a good decision naming Rhaenyra. That's the first time you see him actually speak this question and say it out loud. This question, he says it to Alicent in private, that he's now not so sure if he made the right call. And so you see him in that moment of vulnerability, divulging to Alicent. So that kind of starts setting the course of the events, you know. But we also see another scene which I liked was that when Rhaenyra runs off into the woods and Sir Criston runs after her, and then you know they take their sweet time getting back to camp. She actually gets into an attack by a boar, right? Yeah, a boar. Yeah, but she's a badass because she kills the boar. Yeah, she does.
I feel like all her anger and everything, she's been holding it in, and that's why she ran away. That's why she just felt like she needed to be by herself, without the courtship, without people thinking, "Oh, I want to marry this woman."
And you know, Sir Criston Cole listens to her. I think he does a good job trying to like calm her.
At that time, I really thought. Again, I haven't read the books, but at this time, I kind of thought she was gonna be intimate with Sir Criston. At least a kiss, or at least of like holding hands, some type of intimacy. But again, though, he's Kingsguard, he's not allowed. So like, I don't know though. We'll find out later in this. Again,
that's like, I have problems with that. But anyway, I'm glad they did it. I am glad they did it because she is her own character. Yeah. So I'm glad they did it. But we see her like be this badass. She kills the boar, she gives the final blows. Yeah. And so, and then you know, see it later where they bring the boar back to camp. And it's kind of like, I kind of want to say it's kind of a respect thing they get from some of the other people, like the court. because they're all looking at her like, wow, that's really cool. Like, that's cool that she did that,
well,
you know?
I don't know, though, because it definitely felt like they were just shocked to see her in that state of full with blood, knowing that, and like, that's to set her course of like, I'm not your typical queen where I'm just gonna be all dolly and just like in dresses and all that stuff. I'm gonna be the queen.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think she also holds her own. Like she, you know, obviously comes back bloodied, you know, from the boar's blood, like to camp, and she's not like hysterical or crying. She comes in like with the presence. Like, she commands that presence, like she's okay. She's okay, and she killed this boar. She's okay. Yeah. And so I feel like that garners a lot of respect from the people there. Yeah, let's jump a little bit towards the end of this episode here, and let's talk about, you know, Damon's freaking amazing skills. Oh my god, dude, the way his fight scene, man, his fight scene was just awesome. I was all like, that whole scene where like, okay, he's obviously losing. You see it come to a head where like, the king delivers his news he's going to send aid, but, you know, he has this dissent from his people, like, right? Like, they're losing faith in him. Yeah. And so he has to do something. He's frustrated. He is frustrated. They're losing. At the losing, He's not just losing the war. He's losing the loyalty of his people. They're questioning it. Yep. So he has to make this choice to go and weed out, like, lure out, bait, basically, the crab folk. So he goes into the crab feeder, the where they're hiding on the caves, surrenders, right? Surrenders, and then goes out into this brawl. Like, he just takes him out. You see him fight. It's so brilliant, dude. So like, I really thought they were gonna, again, this whole scene is awesome. I love how the gore we got out of it, the speed skills we got out of Damon, the whole fighting sequence. I love that. This just shows that he is, you know, and it's even going to take a huge blow that we saw a little preview for next episode. Like, dude, he's going to be the king of the sea. This is going to set the course for the rest of the series, because he has, from what we see, renewed strength. He has renewed strength in his people, like his whatever he's you know, commanding his army, right? So we see that because he not only did that, he went by himself, was the aid, but you see his bannermen come to his aid and help him win against. Yeah, it was a really good scene. So I loved it. I love the whole blood, and then also he gets the crab feeder. He really kills himself. He kills the crab feeder, cuts him up open. You see him with gushed with blood, and at that moment, at the very end of the episode, though, we see a sense of, and I talk about it even beyond, and I kind of, that was a good way to put it. Well, we see Rhaenyra. And we see Rhaenyra and Daemon and Viserys at different paths now. You know, I kind of feel like Rhaenyra, and especially Rhaenyra and Daemon, at the very end of this episode, they're totally different people in the beginning of this. And one of the creators progressed. Said that at the end of this episode, you see a sense of what their purpose is. Yeah, and we do, man. That's the crazy part, is that we do, and now we're gonna see exactly the next episode. Like, okay, well, Viserys gave the opportunity for Rhaenyra to choose someone now. And that was very interesting, because she kind of smirked a little bit, and I was just like, I felt like she was a little bit more content with that versus her just like, you're going to be marrying X person for X reason. So in this situation, I like that though, because Viserys is like, you're going to have the choice just like I had the choice. And that, hey, I can respect that. I can respect that. I really can. Now, where she goes with that, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. But again, though, we'll put it on comments down below. What did you think of this episode, guys? And I mean, that fight scene. I love that fight scene. I love seeing some Matt Smith freaking kill some crab people, and then come out of it just all full of blood and anger and victory. That's what he came out with. Yep. He came out with victory. That war is finally over. That small battle war. And what happens next? I know. What is the path? Now he's going to be like, I needed you and you didn't come for me, brother. And then either that could do it like that, or two, it could be like, look at what I did without your help. In a way. I feel like that's a sense of like, I deserve to be heir because I won this war for the realm, right? Yeah. So I feel like that could also be a way it goes.
Yeah.
So we'll see because, obviously Daemon is still around.
Yeah.
Now we have 3 fighting for the throne. We have Daemon still in the race, maybe. We have Rhaenyra, who still is. And not only does Viserys say, you have a choice. Mm-hmm. He says to her in a scene, just him and his daughter, you have a choice in who you marry, but also I'm telling you, you will not be supplanted. You are still my heir, even though Aegon has been born. You're still my heir. So he reassures her, but still, it's open. You have the 3. And Otto has told Alicent, you need to convince him otherwise.
He's the firstborn.
You need to convince
he convinced the king
to have the firstborn be named heir.
It's just a Game of Thrones, isn't it? Oh, man, it really is.
You see the politics, and you're like, oh, man. I can't wait to see what happens next. This is a great episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I feel like it's still setting up, but there's still so much that has happened, and I can't wait to see what the next episode is, and also when the next time jump is. I really am excited for that.
I love how the way they're doing it right now because I'm for it. As long as they don't do like time backs, like time jumps like that throughout the episode, it's gonna be kind of like, wait, where are they? Like, it just don't do a lot of it. I feel like with the way they're going at the flow right now from this past episode to the last episode, it's a perfect. They're doing it smooth. It comes out natural. I still think
there's gonna be the next episode, maybe next 1 or 2 might still be in this present time.
Well,
maybe a few weeks, months.
There's 10 episodes, so we're on the 3rd right here. But I could see going 2 or 2 more maybe with the same actress, and then jumping. Yeah, and then
like
start
the next major one.
Actresses and actors.
Yeah, because it happens. We see it, and I don't see them waiting till like the last 2 episodes to do that. I think at least half. So I would say maybe 2, which I think
3. I don't know if it's gonna be good or bad because we've all fallen for Rhaenyra. Like, she is awesome.
She's such a great actress.
She's a good actress.
Even like Alicent is a great actress. I feel like these 2 young actresses who are going to be different actors when they time jumps again. Yeah, I still we love these characters. Like we want to. So
I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. They have to have that same presence as their counterparts did. Yeah. And it's funny because usually it's the other way around. Usually it's like the adults and then the kids themselves, but now it's like reversed. And I love that though because it shows us how much we care about this character and everything. And also we forgot to mention Rhaenyra actually saw that white. Was
an interesting thing. She, right before she goes back to camp, she sees the rare white stag. Yeah. Which is like, I guess, a sign of like royalty, divine royalty. So that wasn't a coincidence
how Rhaenyra had to counter it versus Viserys, which was for Aegon.
And like she chose to spare its life. Yep. Like she wasn't gonna have.
Christian's like brings out his sword and she's all.
She chooses not to. So that I think that says a lot about not only her character, but also possibly like a prophecy.
I'm telling you. Here it comes, guys. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. What would you give this rating of this episode right before we take off?
I'd give it an 8 because I like the opening, the fight scenes, the setup. We see her coming into her, age, I guess. And plus we see more development. Like as these episodes progress, we see more development within most of the main characters, and I love that.
Yeah, and that whole fight scene was very good. Like it was the graphics, the effects, everything was just beautifully done. The dragons, though, it's weird. I never thought I would say where a CGI, because obviously the dragon CGI. I never thought I would say the closer it gets, the more it's supposed to get more blurry. You could see more CG. You could see it's a little digital. With HBO, oh my god, dude! It's like the closer it gets, the more detailed it is. Like it just, I feel like it looks so real.
They've perfected it with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they mastered it. Yeah,
but obviously it's different dragons. But still, I feel like the care and attention is still there. HBO,
the quality,
the
quality, production, everything's just so good.
Costumes, set, everything is just beautifully done. Love it. It's still great. I give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I give it a solid 9.1, guys, because again, I just love the whole fight scenes. I love it all. I love the whole story. I love the whole politics behind it. I'm excited for this. Now the question is for you guys: what did you think of this episode? Put in comments down below. Are you loving this episode, or are you just like, nah, you guys are crazy. It's not as good as Game of Thrones? Because I'll be honest here. Not a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are loving this show because they're saying it gives me my Game of Thrones fix. It gives me my fix. It gives me my edge that I need to last for the week. And we're at a time, we're at a time to where it's just now we're living that Game of Thrones. It's like Oh, we gotta wait every another Sunday now, so definitely. All right, guys, thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Hey, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, hit that subscribe notification, guys, to get notified on our movie reviews, reactions, or in this case, TV show reviews. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. Ryan 680.
Amanda, that Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk. Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe, San Antonio. Peace.